Texas, West Texas, Dallas, Houston, Central Texas. You are now tuned in to CTX Sports Saga, the #1 place for youth sports recaps, news, predictions, all that other good stuff dealing with all the youth. Because you know the youth is the future. Exposure that kids need. Let's go.
Yo, what up, man? What up, Saga? How y'all, man? How's everybody doing? Let me get my boy up in. Yeah, there he is, Saga 2.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Get this shared out.
Appreciate it. If y'all could do that as well, man. All the fans, everybody out here, if y'all are tuning in, tag it, share it, put it in your group chats, put it in your messengers. Get all your teams out. Sunday shows are back, baby. Sunday shows are back, man. And it's open mic. It's open mic night.
Like, comment, share. Get those shares and comments up.
Yeah, man. Hey, let's see if we can get to I'd like to get to 80. Let's see if we can get to 80 viewers. 80 Facebook viewers alone. Not including other platforms, man. If y'all are in here, man, make sure y'all tap something in the chat. What's up? What's up? Another day, man. Trying to make something happen here on the show. Hey, we got some news, man. And I even created a 3-slide-slideshow, Bert.
My man.
3 slides, bro. So that way I could keep up to date on the things that I know I need to talk about. And I did that within 5 minutes before the show started because I'm responsible.
Hey, they think we just willy-nilly go through the show, man. We actually have do have stuff written down on what we're going to talk about. But before you get to your you got the showcase on there?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
On my slide. Well, I want to get to. Let me see if I can add my thing. Let's talk about. Let me get my guys. I'm not gonna talk until I get over 30 viewers. Where we at? I need 3 more. Give me 3 more viewers, guys. Come on, make sure y'all share this to y'all's pages, yo.
What's up, Nate? Big Nate. That's my dog.
Hey, man. Hey, I said I never do this, but I'm gonna give a big shout out to News 3, man. I'm giving a big shout out to News 3 right now.
Hey, News 3.
Hey,
get you a page.
And
News start 3. Having you weekly lives. Don't keep it confined to one group. We support it, and if you need if you need to know how to set all this up, hit us up.
He ain't got time.
He got all the time in the world.
Fact, he's got all the time. Robinson's got all the time. All right, man. Hey, we hit our 30 viewers. All right, bet. So, hey, man, I wanted to go through some things real quick, man. I'm just going to add this up here. I hope this look good on y'all screen. Can y'all see that? Tell me if y'all can see that good on y'all screen. If not, I'll remove us and put the slideshow up only. Can y'all read this stuff? Put it in the chat. Y'all can read that? Yay or nay?
I got a thumbs up. So while we wait for that, what's up, Joe? Hey, Saturday down there close to the border, man. Central Texas is taking a group of all-stars down there to compete in the Texas All-Star Showcase. Like we said earlier, the numbers are a little bit low, but there's still a lot of excitement, right?
Yep.
I think if this can go well, maybe we can get the numbers back up and get people going. So start off 6U. 6U is a group that has gotten a little bit of time together. A lot of those kids are Bears kids. But right off the rip, man, South Houston out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Out the gate. RGB is their second game. And what's so big about that is you would think those guys down the border, that's an easy win. But listen, man, they usually have some big kids down there in the border, bro. Like humongous kids.
Huge. And it's good, though, because those 6U guys are, which we'll bring up later here in the show, but those 6U guys that are mostly Bears are doing these tournaments down there on the border. And so they're getting the reps with these big kids already, man, and they know what to expect when they get into this. So, personally, I believe they got the hardest schedule. Excuse me, let me break this back. What am I doing? All right, so usually they have the hardest schedule, man. I think they, South Houston, then you got RGV.
Man, so 7U
pool play.
RGV, then Midwest Texas. Midwest Texas is a growing region. Sometimes would be interested in Madden tournaments. Okay, we got you, Ed. As a growing region, they usually put out maybe 1 to 2 good age groups per year. Let's see if this is the year where they can put out more. So
Exactly.
again, 7U with the RGV draw. They're gonna have home field advantage, and luckily for us, I think a lot of people don't think about this. Even when we were down in the snowstorm last year, College Station is not too far, but for the longest time we had it in Round Rock. And the home field advantage really was for us. A lot of coaches and a lot of families can get down there, man. So RGV having the home field advantage might make a difference in some of those games. So Joe and his 8U squad, man, Coastal Bend and Midwest Texas, that's a pretty favorable pool play matchup. You're defending 10U champs. They were 9U champs last year. They're back. They got San Antonio out the gate.
Yep.
And kind of a budding rivalry with those guys from Arkansas who they got in pool play last year. They get them again. Yep. It was bad last year. So let's see if they can repeat that.
Let's see.
Will and his 8U squad, they get East Texas out the gate. A good warm-up. I'll never forget the year we went to the championship game on the Platinum side. We got East Texas and South Houston out the gate. So it's always a good warm-up. But now Will, he don't get South Houston. He gets North Houston.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good split, though, man. I was trying to talk to some of those guys earlier in the Houston on how the split was coming about. And to me personally, I think it works in our favor because we're going to get a lot of these Texas sport teams in players that in the North Houston aspect compared to the South Houston, which was more gridiron and paralleling and all those guys like that. So, yeah, I think that we're gonna definitely get a pretty good split out of this, man. I'm not
defending champs, North Houston, 9 times out of 10, if we just keep it 100, from 6 all the way up. Let's say there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. You're out of the 8 groups. North Houston might bring home 6.
Yeah.
Titles.
No, agreed.
So this region is a powerhouse.
I'm not going for it.
And his group always put a good product out there. But hey, Coach Will said, I'm not going for it.
I'm not going for it. It's just what it is. And luckily for us, it's pool play. I mean, it could be our first game out of pool play.
Right.
So
and pool play, hey.
I'll take it.
Hey, just don't get the brakes beat off you, and you still.
Yeah, you'll be good. You're in there. My thing is in pool play. If you can score in both of your games, you're all right.
Right.
You score in both your games, you're all
right. So Coach Will be down there. We won't, because he's in a coaching capacity, we won't try to put too much filming onto him because he's got to get through and get game plans. But if he does have a free minute, we will get him too. But before the week is out, we're going to get with some of the parents and some of the coaches who aren't coaching but are going down there.
Right.
We'll try to get as many streams as possible as we can. But like I said, usually I have no problem asking Will, like, hey, bitch, excuse me, hey, Will.
That's how you down there.
You down there.
Me?
Hey, you down there. You might as well stream it, right? But
no, y'all know.
He's got to come up with game plans, man.
Yeah, no, y'all know me.
And I might call him. I might call him and tell him, hey, get off the live, man. Go get your team ready.
And that's what we're gonna do. I mean, truth be told, y'all know me, man. I'm gonna put this camera up. I'm gonna be somewhere else. I think the best part of coaching sometimes is stepping away from coaching. You can overthink a lot of things. So sometimes when the game's over with, it's just best to get out of that atmosphere, go find something else to do, and then come back to being a coach. So that's how
that goes in the swear jar, guys. I'm sorry, that one slipped out.
Oh, we haven't had the swear jar in a while, bro.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good.
Well,
man.
hey, no, I put on the titles that tonight was a PG-13 stream. So you're welcome.
So that is your one thing we can ask Coach Will to do when they do check-ins.
I'm gonna be there
live. They
do
check-ins. We'll have Coach Will go live so you guys can kind of get the atmosphere. It'll probably be a lot warmer down there than it is up here. So I can't wait, man.
I think so. Just going to get some announcements out for Kendrick that we kind of talked about today at practice. If you didn't make it to practice and you're on the show, spread the news. Our time to check in is 4:15 on Friday the 18th at 4:15. But you need to be there at 3:00. That's a 6.5-hour drive. So again, plan on being there, touching down with all the traffic going through Austin, San Antonio, and everything else you're going to go through to be there and land it by 3:00. We're going to be leaving crazy early. I'm going to start posting some things with Kendrick. I think we're going to have some meetup points and drive points as well. So we can basically kind of follow everybody down there if you want to leave at the same time. I know one of our meetup points last year was Fort Hood Street and Elms Road, that parking lot right there with the clubs in it.
Yeah.
And then we can convoy all the way down. We try to plan breaks and stuff in between there. But that way we could just kind of keep everybody together. Everybody's watching everybody else's six. Last year, weather was terrible. So it was terrible. So we definitely wanted to try to do that again, man. I'll get with Kendricks and some of the team leaders, head coaches, if they plan on doing a meetup. What's their meetup spot and things like that. We'll keep that posted, man, here on the saga as well.
Hey, so we're excited, man. That's that time of year. So we can get that information. I'm glad they finally got us our flyer. I've been seeing everybody else's flyer pop up, and I was like, when are we going to get to see Central Texas? And quite honestly, well, there's more age groups than I thought there was. Because I've seen the majority of the flyers, man. There's only like 3 age groups per region. You know what I mean? So this is one of the flyers I see, other than like North Houston and South Houston, where we've got good numbers. There's also other football going on. D1 the D1 tournament where all the best kids get together. CCE, like there's just so much others going on before when this first started. When this first started, this was the only, January, February.
This is the only thing that was going on.
Right.
Yeah, I agree, and I think other organizations have. This is the history of the showcase where we say it's starting to fall, right? Because people are starting to participate in more of these other events than they are the original event, if I want to say. So it is what it is, man. But we're gonna try to keep this thing going as long as we can here, since Texas represent for these kids. The one thing I like about this year, man, it was we got a lot of kids that probably a year ago, 2 years ago wouldn't have made this team, got the chance to make it, and that's exciting for these kids, man. You can see it in their work ethic, you can see it in their eyes, their heart at practice. I'm excited about it, man. Again, we're gonna go down there and. I'm telling you right now, my 11 you guys, man, they got hearts of gold, man. So I don't see no quitting. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, they're going to go down there ready to bang against whoever they come up with. And I see a lot of other age groups. I saw Dez and then everybody's 10U, KJ and their 10U. Man, they look good. Nate and Joe's 8U look real good today at practice. 6U, I didn't get the peek in on. I don't think I even looked over at 7U, 6 or 7U. But, man, Joe's 8U looks good, that 10U looks good, man. We look like we're pretty good on 11U stepping out. So a lot of high expectations and hopes.
Man. Hey, German, if you're in here, man, tap in with us. I just seen you love it. Hey, German, we said, hey, get you a News 3 page and start doing them shows outside the comfort of one group.
1, 2, yep. I know that 13U, man, basically bring that up. I appreciate you bringing that up. I forgot all about that too. Yes, 13U, our 13U team, man, went down to Austin. So last year, Austin came to us. Our 13U team went down there to Austin's team to fulfill a spot.
Right.
And definitely still repping Central Texas from there, guys. So again, wish the best of luck. We'll definitely Bates.
Oh, well, while you're looking that up, while you're doing that, I will look up. I don't know if Austin's flyer came out yet. Let me look while you.
Bates, put it in the chat if you know who you got on your pool play.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, man. 8U look good, Brandon. I mean, like I told you, I was just kind of there looking. We were practicing right beside each other, but I was looking over. Y'all look real good, man. I'm impressed with that team. And again, man, that group of coaches y'all got over there is pretty stout too. So I was not really impressed. It was like, y'all gonna do y'all thing either way it went. So big ups to y'all, man. Hey, but I'm gonna jump off a showcase, Bates. Put it in there if you see their if you got their pool play players in here. We'll bounce back to it.
Right.
Burke, I'm gonna get to my next announcement, man. So,
okay,
we were just talking about the 7U, 6U Bears, right, and the 8U Bears. I have jumped on this bandwagon, man, and there is going to be another tournament coming up March 12th and 13th, spring break weekend down in Corpus again. And I talked with Mo, talked with Julie, talked with some of the leads of it, man. I'm really anxious to put a 12U team in for that tournament. Me coaching. So parents, if you have any interest in this, hit me up. Let me know. There's some guidelines and some things that we're going to go over with the Bears. Again, that's another down point. If you're not in track or if you're not doing anything like that, Corpus Christi, which will be March 12th and 13th. Smash Mouth. This is the but you've seen me film for the Bears when we went down to Corpus last time. That was their Texas shootout. This is the spring break bash that we're talking about going to. Let me know. We got some coaches that are being involved, man. This will be a multi-organization team. I want to make that crystal clear. This is a multi-organization team. I don't want your kids. I don't. I just want to get these kids on the field, kind of like we're doing for Showcase. If the Showcase team is down with it, I might take our Showcase team down there. I'll talk about that. But if anybody else that wants to be involved because they didn't quite meet Showcase or they couldn't, they missed the cutoff, things like that, here's an opportunity with Coach Will, and some staff that we're going to go down there. Man, we just kind of just like the BSC tournament, trying to put Central Texas on the map. Come step in with the Bears, man, and we can get this thing done. So I'm putting it out there right now for y'all. This is my interest level. If I get enough kids and everybody that's interested in it, coaches, I need coaches as well for multiple orgs. If you guys want to be involved because you didn't get a chance to coach on Showcase or whatever it is, please hit me up.
Hey, German said Jujack will go down there with you.
Bet. Set it up. Hey, you already know what time it is with him. I can send you the playbook. You can work. You work on everything in your backyard anyway.
Zoom practices.
Zoom practices. Nothing.
13U play San Antonio and RGV.
Okay, bet. Yep. We play San Antonio and RGV. So same schedule. That's good stuff, man.
Right.
That 13U San Antonio team, I heard that was pretty stout, man. But I think I haven't seen anything out there, Bait. So you tell me how y'all look out there on 13, man. Ty, I appreciate you, man. Yeah, anybody that can help record, man, and things like that, we will definitely be able to help out with, getting you links to getting things to the page and all that good stuff like that. So we appreciate y'all's efforts, man. But yeah, Bert, you want to come down there?
The Corpus? When is this? This coming weekend?
No, this is March.
March. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, March.
My only fear is this may be a basketball tournament weekend. That's my biggest fear.
I think some of them do. Some of them, yeah.
But anyways, look, besides all that, man, hey, if you guys got interest in it, tell your team, tell your teammates, people that didn't make the Showcase, people that wanted to play with the kids from the Showcase team, if y'all on here and y'all want to go down there, let me know. We'll rack this up, man. And again, this is a multi-team thing. I don't want your kids. I'm telling you, they're going to come play, and I'm going to send them back to their org. I don't even want to talk to them after I yell at them for 2.5 hours probably. That's it. So
that's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah. So that's that, man. And then I'm going to save this last slide for later, man. So go ahead and you tell me what else you got to talk about, bro.
Who would we need to talk to? Talk to John, Coach Will.
About what, John?
Getting with that tournament. John, actually, I think they're looking for some AU kids. So my dog Brody could rock with it, man.
Hey, message. I'm not sure the Bears have a page. I don't think they have a Facebook page. I don't think so. If they don't, man, I'll get you the contacts. I'll make sure we put it here on the Saga right after this. But you can message me, Julie, Mo, Breon Price, RTYA, Ramon Taylor. Who else? Who am I missing? Zach. Any of those guys, man, that's involved with them, message them. They can get you to a good point of contact. Again, all those guys are tagged somewhere on the page. They have a parents group page. Okay, that's what it is. Anyways, we'll get that out. If you need any contact, John, just get with me after the show. Message the Saga. We'll get you in a good point of contact. All right. I did that the right way this time. Look, I said the Saga.
The Saga.
I did that the right way. All right, whatever. Anyway, whatever, man. Hey. Getting up there, man. Appreciate y'all sharing and liking this thing. If y'all are in here, you're watching this, man, please drop a like or emoji or something on the chat just for these Facebook algorithms. Again, we're trying to keep this thing going, keep it popping, and we'll make things going. So, open mic for anybody that's in there. I know some people in here that wanted to talk to me.
Hey, yeah, Polite, man. Polite, this is your time. I told my dog Polite to jump on here today.
So, I'm going to go ahead and start the show, man, and here it is, bro. We talked about this, David. You posted this. And I'm very interested to start off by talking with this because this is my slogan. Not say my slogan, but this is a slogan that we have definitely been talking about for a time or two. And I need to make sure that everybody's on board with my representation of the slogan. Now, the question is what does it mean to you, right? So, Bert, you posted this, right? It says, hey, what does CTX over everybody mean? Right? And I think this is a hell of a question, man, because there's a lot of people
name up there.
Yeah, well, I didn't put your middle initial, but you're working pretty good. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that to me needs to be discussed here, man, in Central Texas, dog, because to me, if you're going to say this slogan, if you are going to say this slogan, the very next thing you have to do is put your organization on the back burner.
Costly said it means nothing.
Period. That's costly. Listen, but I get where he's coming from, though, on the aspect of it, is because it means nothing if everybody doesn't mean the true meaning behind it, right? Like if you're saying CTX over everybody, and that's cool, that means that any team from CTX, any organization that's in this CTX barrier, all right, whether it's softball, baseball, basketball, football, it is simply saying I'm rocking with my team, that team, that organization, no matter where we at, outside of this Central Texas thing.
Well, right? It comes to a point. This is what it really comes down to, and it breaks down to. As long as it doesn't affect, and I'm not talking about me. This is what people think. As long as it doesn't affect me and what we got going on, I'll support it. But if it affects me and we, I'm not supporting it.
But here's the thing: it shouldn't. And here's the deal. And I'm saying this to all organizations. Mo, I see you in here, man. I'm gonna get you in just a second. Accordingly, and I'm saying this from a higher seat that I actually sit in, but understandably, when we leave Central Texas, when we leave this vicinity, this area, I guess you can say, right? You represent Central Texas. And what you do out on the road reflects back here in Central Texas.
Right.
So if you want to go on the road and act a fool and act the ass and do all this, at the end of the day, you're representing Central Texas. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it to anybody out here. Hey, we are out here making connections. Me, Bert, the Chiefs, Waco Southern, RTYA, Bears, they're all out here making connections. But we got one shot at this. I would hate to get all these teams that we've been talking to down here to Central Texas, get them in these tournaments, these preseason tournaments we want, and we can't get our shit right here in the city. I said it. There's my donation, right? We got to get this stuff here in the city first squared away, because they're not going to come back if they say, man, we went all the way down there and these boys can't even get their own stuff together.
Right.
Same thing we say about BSC. Same thing we keep saying about AAU. Same thing we say when we go out of town and we get screwed in the tournament. That same opinion is going to apply to other teams. So my advice, my words of wisdom to you guys is, if you're going to rock this CTX over everybody, please make your organization is the back burner. It is about whoever's out and about and rocking. All right. Mo, I'm going to jump and get you in here because I know you got a little spiel you want to drop in here because you're the one who started this. Coach Joe, give me 1 second, bro. Mo, you there?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man?
What's up, big dog?
Hey, so you started this. You started this topic, man. I want to give you props for props to do. You started this topic right here, man. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and elaborate on it, bro.
I mean, it's just all the stuff going on in youth football right now. It just makes you wonder, what does CTX over everybody? Is it a slogan that sounds good whenever you want people to back you when you're going out of town, or is it just something that sounds good when you're trying to recruit somebody's kid from another organization? Like, you know, what does CTX over everybody actually mean? You know, because there's people that I feel like that, you know, they have agendas and they want to promote their kid, what they got going on, so forth and so on. And then there's other people that are like actually from here that will say, hey guys, you know, why can't everybody come together? Why can't after, like, if it's proven that we're better together, then why go out anytime and not be together, you know? Right. And as far as inclusivity, like, you know, with the Bears, you know what I'm saying? We give the parents an opportunity to bring their kids over whose kid's a dog. We have tryouts. It's not like, oh, well, this coach feels like this and that coach feels like that. I mean, we actually have coaching contracts that describe the process, top 25 percentile. Like, if you take the top 25 percentile in an equal tryout, trust me, you'll have a dog-ass team, okay? But, you know, like the showcase is a prime example. You know, all the coaches got to come together to coach a showcase. The same thing with the Bears. The coaches got to come together. We have rules, two coaches per org, so that way you don't have to worry about recruiting It's actually in the rules and stuff like that. But you know, the Bears is just an opportunity for teams to take those best kids that they think they got and go run them up against the other best kids around the area and see if they're the cream of the crop for real. Instead of saying like, oh well, I'm gonna take my team and they're dogs, okay, but yet you go out the sandbox, lose, or don't want somebody else to coach your kids so that way, you know, you don't get exposed. I don't know what the situation is, but like, in order to grow the area, like for real, we should be going out here beating people, you know, like the Bears. We went down, we beat Yoakum Outlaws, okay? Now, we didn't just beat any Yoakum Outlaws. We beat the Taifa, the coaches, the Friday Night Tykes Yoakum Outlaws. We beat those coaches. We beat OTE, okay? That's the Corpus Christi Showcase team, okay? We beat those guys. Now, just imagine, two teams in the championship the first time. Like, you talk about coaching. We put 6-year-old flag kids who never played against nobody, and they out here making it to the ship.
And then they had to win by 34 to even get to the ship.
Yeah, we had to win by 34 on 6U just to get to the ship, and they beat them boys by 39, okay? So, you know, that says a lot about the coaches. I don't even coach 6U. That says a lot about those coaches that came together from various organizations to link up. Now, when you want to talk about exposure and stuff like that, you know, you go out here and you beat these guys, okay? And now we host a tournament here. Of course, they're going to want to come play the Bears, just like the Jets. If y'all went out there and drug everybody in Texas sports, guess what? Y'all host a tournament, they're going to want to come get that smoke. And that provides an opportunity for, you know, other organizations to put their 8Us in the tournament because they're coming here to play the Bears, you know. But if we had a tournament and the Gray Wolves want to get in it, the Knights 8U want to get in it, we're not talking about whole orgs. We're not talking about whole teams. We're talking about 1, 2, maybe 3 kids from one org, you know? So guess what? That gives an opportunity for everyone to really get an opportunity to put some shots and light on this area. But, you know, that's my thing.
I applaud what you're doing, man. Like I told you, I didn't, to me, before I got involved, when I went to go watch it, it was just, you know, I knew what you're doing by words, right? Like, it's different when you're just talking about it. But when I actually went down there and I saw it and I understood the camaraderie, and like I said, you got people from RTYA, the Longhorns, you got some Vipers coaches, you got everybody in the mix. And again, genuinely, it's just like a showcase. They didn't care about what org that kid came from. They just cared about how we can get this kid worked up to the kid next to him to go to produce a winning product. And y'all did that. You know what I mean? Again, 2 teams, 2 championships. And you can't say they didn't know who we was, because Mo, you was right there with us. As much as they was barking, it was right there asking, hey, man, we need to see y'all more.
Right.
That's all y'all got. And that's why I decided that once I'm hearing all this from the streets, I'm like, man, we need to put more teams in here. Like I said, y'all didn't take an 8U. You didn't take an 8U of some other stuff that going on, lack of players and stuff. But me, hey, we going back down there. I think I need to get a little 12U team in there. Period.
I mean, that's like, if the kids want to get in, you know what I'm saying? It's not even that difficult. You know, the difficult part is these grown ass adults saying, you know what? I'm gonna put my pride aside. I'm gonna work with this coach. I'm gonna work with that coach. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I got the answers for everything. You know, I'm gonna work with this coach. I'm gonna work with that coach. And then the amazing thing about the Bears process is, like, if you go out there and lose, because this is about winning. This ain't about just going to say we did something. This is about winning. If you don't make it to the championship round, 2 tournaments in a row, you out of there as a head coach. You are out of there. Let someone else coach those kids. See if they can't maybe put a plan or a scheme together that's going to really get over the hump in those championship rounds. But you got to make it to the championship rounds to maintain your spot as a coordinator.
Right. That makes sense to me, man. That makes absolute sense to me. So, like I said, man, I appreciate what y'all are doing, man. We've already talked, man. I'm gonna try to get something together so we can get a 12U team to go back down there in March.
Sick of Bears.
Appreciate you, Mo. Appreciate you, big dog.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. We got Joe. Joe sitting in the queue. Big Joe. Let me see if I can get him
2
on
things
board
before we get Joe on. I definitely agree with what Mo said, that there's 2 things that, like I said, there's the side that doesn't mind working together, and then there's always going to be that side that says, does this other kids are playing other sports right now, so that's a fraction, right? And
Right.
then we've got the other side that says, well, does this affect what we or me have going on? And that's the mindset, we're trying to get out of. But we're all human beings, man. I don't think we'll ever be able to. If we all could live in kumbaya, there'd be no wars right now, ever in the history books. There wouldn't be no history books.
That's true. That's true. Let me get Joe on here, man. See what Big Joe talking about.
What's up, man? You got me?
Yeah. What's up, bro?
What's up? So CTX over everybody. I'm one of the few coaches that actually agree with you on this. But the problem is, right, it's the coaches and CTX. The Central Texas over everybody is a myth, and it's like racism. You want it, you want to get rid of racism, you want to have unity here in Central Texas, guess what? It's never going to happen, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Too many snakes out there. There are people purposely, okay, that have shown from their actions, whether they admit it or not, and think I'm full of dookie, right? that are trying to sabotage the showcase this year. Okay?
Look at it.
Now, you take stuff like what the Bears are doing, right? What the Bears are doing is good stuff. But we talk about Central Texas coming together, right?
Right.
I have a couple things.
Hey, Joe, sorry, man. I gotta jump off for a quick second. Hey, Bert, hold tight. I'll be right back. I get some calls from work. I'll be right back.
All right. I have a couple things to address this.
Go ahead, brother.
Why don't we all come together like we do, and we come together for the showcase, right? Because I'll tell you right now, if we come together like we're supposed to and support it from organizations, right, and coaches, we can go down there and be like North Houston and win 5 or 6 championships with the talent that we have at age groups. Am I right or wrong, Burke?
No, you're right. Hey, it goes back to what I just said. Is that time of year where
my thing would be like, okay, we all come together and we do showcase together all the way up to that weekend, right? Teams like the Bears and the 7-on-7 that we're competing with, right? And that's what the Bears compete with other kids and other activities as well, right?
Right.
Why don't we do showcase all the way up to showcase? And then as soon as showcase is over, now you already have the cream of the crop, right? 6U through 13U, correct?
Right.
Through showcase. We go right from showcase to Bears. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we play in tournaments March, April, May, you know what I'm saying? Maybe some big national one that we qualify at the age groups with, in June. You know what I mean? Then we all go back in middle of June, right, to our organizations.
Yeah.
We talk shit and we battle it out. You know what I mean? And then next year you come around the corner, we do showcase, we get the cream of the crop, and then we do Bears. Then the Bears have a good 6U through 13U for their organization. I mean, does it make sense?
No, it makes sense.
Then, and, really, personally, on a personal note, that's what I'd like to see. Like I said, showcase, and then all the cream of the crop, we all go become Bears. Like I said, March, April, May, middle of June. And then we go back to our orgs. But what other teams do, I really don't care. If they're doing what they feel is best for them. But we talk about like showcase over everybody, right? I mean, not showcase, Central Texas. Right now, we have currently the Jets who stepped out the box last year and went single age group, correct?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Now you have 2 other orgs that are about to go to single age group that they said they were going to do, right? They're saying it, right? You got the Chiefs 11U, supposedly the Grey Wolves 12U, and then supposedly they're going to try to put single age groups together with the Vipers, right?
Right.
What are we doing? It's the same shit as AAU. We're going to water it down because you're going to have 2 or 3, 4 teams all fighting for the top talent.
So you're saying why not just join the Jets, huh?
Well, either that or like me from being like a board member of 2 different orgs now, right? And we were a single age group, and I found another team was doing single age groups. I'd be like, okay, Burke, you want to do a single age group for 10U this year. Come underneath our flag. I know you have an attachment to those kids. You know, you feel like they're your babies. You've been coaching them since they were flag. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bring your coaches. Come to my 10U because I already have single age group established, right? We'll call it the Joe Casmus Eagles, right? Come beat with 10U and the Eagles. Bring your whole coaching staff. And I'll explain to my coaching staff that's already 10U, said, hey, we're going to give them our best players as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll take my 10U staff and either they can, if they want to coach, guys want to coach together, that's fine. We'll go down to 9U or we'll go up to 11U.
But that's the
how
problem,
you
though,
start
man.
bringing people together.
I agree, but that's the problem, man. You got some people that have worked with those kids for, you know what I'm saying, with those kids and followed them up. Then you tell me you're gonna put somebody else in here to rechange it, man. That's a big issue. And I'd say the same thing if I was a coach too, especially if I've been following kids for that long.
Well, no, he's saying bring that coaching staff that's been with those kids to it.
But what about the coaching staff that's currently with those teams?
That's what I said. You talk to them. If Berkey's wants to bring his 10U over and his whole coaching staff, right? And you're sitting there, you're already on the 10U coaching staff, okay?
With my kids, right.
with your kids. I'll say, hey, as the president of Joe's Eagles, are you willing to go down to 9 or 10U, and we're going to give those kids to that, knowing for the good of the org, we're making the 11U age group stronger for this year.
I get what
I'm saying.
I'm just saying that as a prideful tenure coach, that's gonna be an issue for me.
Exactly, and like I was telling people, and I'm not saying it's because I was the Panther coach on 12U, right?
Right.
You take the 12U Jets last year, right? They skull dragged the Chiefs, right? And then they skull dragged us, right or wrong?
Right.
Okay, now, but at Texas Select, there were a couple pieces short, right or wrong. But if you take my 4 best linemen and 4 best athletes from the Panthers, put them on that Jet squad, and then you take, the 2 best linemen from the Chiefs and AZ and that other great athlete, that 12U Jet squad now can compete with the big dogs.
That's true. No, I agree with that.
Compete and beat them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to do if we want to compete on the bigger, like Texas Sports, AYN, and all these other things, right, in Georgia. We got to come together as a whole. You can't have a travel team with this league, this team, a travel with this team, because everyone's fighting for the same top talent, and it's going to end up being watered down, just like AAU. Because there's, as big as we are with the great talent that we have, we don't have enough of it because we don't have 3 million people like fucking Houston.
Facts. Polite, what you got on this? I know you're itching. I can see you shaking. I can see you together, man. I can see you shaking.
He said the Eagles.
The Eagles.
The Eagles.
Oh, okay. Talking about Joe's Eagles.
Joe's Eagles.
Not Joe's Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
Eagles won't allow it to happen, and that's fine that it's not happening in that manner. We have to work. We have to find a way to support one another. Everybody is not going to be a part of what you're doing, and you can expect that. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to hate on it, whatever the case may be. But we're getting away from the common goal. The common goal is not CTX over everybody. It's these kids over everybody. So the development of them is what's really the importance. And we're moving away from that as a whole. That's what I'm seeing in Central Texas. I've only been here for about 4 years now, but that's what I'm seeing. We're moving away from that common goal. Everybody's pushing their different agendas, and focusing on youth championships that don't even freaking matter. My kid got 8 dang on rings upstairs. You think that stuff matter right now? He about to go into high school next year. Nobody care about what he did when he was freaking, part of this team and that team. I don't care about that stuff, So we got to focus on the development of the kids, man.
That's true. That's true. And I want to make that crystal clear, man. I don't care about none of y'all adults here in Central Texas.
Hey, and to that point, the development and the development of kids is number one, but how we get the kids developed and how we push them up through is another point, right?
Ooh.
A lot of these pay-for-play events, I don't know how they're developing kids. I don't mean to rain on anybody's parade or shit in your pants, but hey.
Man, I take to speak on that, man. That's crazy. I see a lot of it, and a lot. So for some that don't know, I went to school for sports management altogether, and a lot of people are tapping into the youth sports industry. Youth sports industry right now is $1 billion industry. So you got your Nikes, your Adidas, the Under Armours, all these individuals are starting to jump into this. And so that's why you're starting to see way more tournaments. You're starting to see way more pay-to-play freaking type events that's going on and stuff like that, because everybody's trying to be a part of that pot. It's just like the realtor game or just like any other, system.
Right.
But when it comes to development, you really have to look at the college camps. That's the best place to get your kids to, in my opinion. I can't speak for anybody else's kid or anything like that. You take a kid where you want to take your kid at. But the college kid, you want to put your athlete in the face of these coaches, go to the college camps. That's where you do it at. If your kid is 8 or older, they can go to LSU. They can go to freaking Texas A&M. They can go to, Alabama football camp. Nick Saban has a great football camp down there. They can go to those things. So do that. Focus on that. These other tournaments and stuff like that for the younger age groups, that's great. That's fine and dandy. But you really got to tap into some of these college camps, and they have them all summer long. So the beginning of June, you got Texas A&M and you got Alabama and LSU going on.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Agreed. No, and like I say, man, I think the orgs and the coaches that really understand it are doing it. So I gave big props to you when you took the Vipers to UMHB for the campus visit and football game. I gave big props to RTYA when they went all the way to Vegas and they went to a UNLV game. Right. I mean, that's a different experience for these kids because it gives them something to go with, and the colleges welcome it. That's
what the Panthers are doing up there, tying their
TCU
7-on-7, with the TCU camp, tying their 7-on-7 and high school program together straight in line with the Panthers program. So stuff like that is what you don't have to take the information. We're not trying to sway anybody from doing what you do. But a lot of this stuff here in a couple of years won't even matter because half your kids are going to be failing or they're going to be in trouble, and nobody's going to care about their 7 youth football rings. So
and here's something too. I was talking with some coaches. I used to coach with the Blaze the other day, right? And they brought up something that it makes too much sense, but it'll never happen around here because of adults wanting to win so bad, right? You take the Grey Wolves, right? To be on the Grey Wolves, you have to be in the Shoemaker High School district area. You know what I mean? To be on the Chiefs, you got to be in Ellis's district area. You know what I'm saying? Now you're developing these kids. These kids are playing together, you know what I'm saying, from 6 all the way up through high school. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now,
you
and they're like,
really
well,
Joe,
you live in Temple and Belt, and then you go to Waco. I said, well, yeah, because that's what's best for my kids right now.
Yeah,
but
you can't do that.
if they did do that in the league, think about how these high school sports would improve in about 6 to 8 years.
Yeah.
It would be like the Westlake.
Here's the thing, though. You can't, man. And I was a victim of it once upon a time, too, before, we got to a settled place or whatever. It was like, man, parents move all the time.
Well, I say this being such a transient city, it happens everywhere else.
It does. It does happen.
Up there in Waco, y'all do it. Back home in New Orleans, the whatever youth ball team you play for, that fed into a high school.
That fit all the way somewhere else. Exactly.
Right. It's a little bit harder. I'm not saying
it's just tough, man. Like say for somebody, Joe, and I get what you're saying. Like up that way, like most of those people, when you move to Waco, you're where you are, right? You're not rezoning. You're not moving out of it. You're staying in that for 5 to 8 years plus, right? Here, people move literally every other year, 2 years. Hey,
3 years,
If you're somebody that's not even buying and you're renting, you can literally move out of zone by moving 4 streets down the block. You know, hey,
I'm not saying it can't happen,
but I'm talking about like development they talk about development for these kids.
Yeah.
No, agree.
That's the kind of development. You know, it doesn't make sense, and I'm not. You know, it doesn't make sense if you look at the big picture. Savoy throwing the ball to my son Joey. You know what I'm saying? All the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Because guess what? From this year on, he's not throwing the ball to him ever again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Two separate districts. It doesn't make sense for Owen to be throwing the ball to Tano if Tano's going to end up going to Ellison or Harker Heights. You see what I'm saying?
I get it, but you got to think what it is, man. You talk about
in the long run,
right? You got to look. Yeah. See, I think that's the difference between developmental and like there isn't a 5-year plan for most of these kids. Let's just be real. There's no 5-year plan for them. What you're going to do is you're going to develop that kid for the year or 2 that you have him, and you're going to pass him on. That's just the God honest truth. Like you can,
but that's what we need to start doing as adults is making. You know,
agree. But
a 5, 6, 7 year plan.
That takes the city be involved, right? Like, I mean, I'm gonna use Tano as a great
I'm
example.
about to say that's a bigger conversation.
That's a way bigger conversation. But
that's an athletic director, coordinator.
Fact.
You know, you got to get
no, not
well,
I mean,
you got to start somewhere. So might as well start here.
Right.
So,
got to start somewhere. Might as well start it here.
Yeah. Hey, the positivity I'm with, Joe.
Agree, bro.
Maybe Cove. Them teams out in Cove can do it, man.
Definitely Cove. I think Rick and them are trying to, man. I actually believe that Rick and Rick Ott and his Colts are talking about getting Coppers Cove ISD involved just because it's simpler. It's only one team out there.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's real simple. One team, one high school. Like it's real easy for those guys to do that. But man, hey, that's a great thing to talk about, man. And the reason why I want to bring up this to go into the next thing, Polite, that you're in here is we talk about developing these kids, right? But let's get into developing athletic kids, right? Multi-sport athletic kids. All right. So you're taking the kid from football to track, from track to basketball, whatever the case may be, right? Is the conversation of development different for a multi-sport kid than it is a regular football kid that we only key in on?
They need to be playing multiple sports.
They need to be.
They all need to be playing multiple sports.
Yeah. They need to. I just want to make sure, is that talk different, right? Because, we get on here about conditioning, D-line coach, D-line, O-line, all this, camps, right? But what if that kid is transitioning to the next sport? Do we hound him for not making it to O-line, D-line camp? Or do we support him in his next venture, which let's just say TTS basketball or Vipers track?
Mm-hmm.
How do you make that? You know what I'm saying?
You have to support.
You have to. You support him in the next event. As a coach, you support the kid, right? That's what I say. You're kid over everything. I was talking about in the chat. Kid over everything.
Because if he's a big old lineman or D lineman in track, he's probably not running the 100 and 400. He's a thrower. So what is that kid doing? He's throwing the shot put. He's training with medicine balls. He's training with kettlebells. The kid, you're working his legs because if it's not just upper body throwing a shot, it's your whole core. You're making the kid stronger. So when he goes back to football, I have a stronger lineman.
Great. So here's my troubling question. If we have no problem passing them to another coach for another sport, why can't we do it for the same sport?
Oh, because they're scared you're going to steal them.
Because people still focus on
there's 1,000 track teams out here.
A lot of people are focused on their orgs and their stuff, and what they're doing is the name. It's the name.
Facts. I just want to make sure we put that out there because I agree with you, Polite, and that's what it is.
That's what I said earlier. Does what you have going on affect we or me have going on? And if it does, I don't want no parts of it, right? That's how most people's mentality is.
Yep.
Agreed, man. All right, I don't feel bad. Let me look at these chat real quick.
And then another thing we need to make sure that, we talk about the sports, but we never talk about recovery from these sports.
Facts. So
you have to make sure that you go ahead.
No, talk it. Let him go. Let him ride. Let him ride.
Preach it, pilot.
I'm about to put you on a solo screen for yourself. Go ahead.
I see a few parents who actually do it. I ain't gonna mention no kid's name, but I see Eddie King. He do it for his son. Of course, a couple other coaches I see do it for their son, their kids, and stuff like that. But you have to make sure that you recovering properly. There's a reset period between any sport, and you have to make sure that you're taking that downtime or doing the sport as well. You got freaking. Let's mention one, the auto stretch. So you got the auto stretch out there. They're providing that for these kids. And stuff like that. Showing them how to stretch properly. You have a bunch of different massage places out here that you can take your kids to, cryotherapy, all the different things that you can do. But you have to make sure that you're focused on that as well, because when you're young, you think you're invincible. You think you could do anything. We all felt like we were invincible when we were young. We could jump off the back of trucks. We could do all type of crazy stuff, right?
We were lucky.
But
that's what it was.
That
we
stuff catches up to you.
Facts.
Yeah, 30, you're done.
Yeah. Facts. No, I mean, it's just
no. Hey, and just little stuff. And something that I tell my boys, and we tell the kids on the basketball team all the time. Changing your diet, drinking, and we know because of football time. Because come July, we're gonna have about 30 kids throwing up because they've been drinking Capri Suns and sodas all day.
Yep.
Every year, I told my boys, when we go to school every day, you need to have a jug. As long as they allow, you need to have a jug of water. It needs to be drank every day. Refill it every morning. You need to do that. You need to stretch when you wake up. You need to stretch when you go to bed.
Yoga,
little stuff. Yeah, little stuff like that to add on to whatever the parents are putting into it. And that's why you have to play multiple sports because like Danny had said in the chat, it uses other things. And it doesn't have to be, listen, if your kid's bowling, we don't care. If he's shooting archery, we don't care.
Yeah.
But the brain and the more info we're finding out about the brain and football, Demaryius Thomas just died, guys. He just died. He was barely 40 years old.
Yeah.
CTE.
It's real.
The brain is not built
and what are we
be
doing?
hit on
and Bar
12 months out of the year.
Bar said this earlier. And what are we doing? We're giving 6U kids helmets and pads.
Right. Well, here I'm going to tell you, and like Jerry Barr and I had a conversation today at showcase practice for a little bit. Every other AAU across the country has 6U tackle. Yep. If you watch 6U tackle for real, it's just a flag game and pads.
Truth. But there's still some collisions.
And but it's not. Most time it's a big hug. Fall over.
Hey, I seen some of them Houston kids from the Crew Babies.
I'm about to say,
some
I'm talking about. I'm saying this is football. I'm saying this is solid Jets players, Jets coach. I didn't watch 6U teams that laid a bang, boy.
But I'm telling you, watch most 6U games, right? I saw some in Arkansas, some in Vegas. I saw some in Florida, right? Those, it's not like, D. Trentino coming up, hitting you at full speed every time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it's just like flag. Who has the misdirection and who has the two fastest kids? And what coach teaches contain.
I disagree with that, man, because you compare that to that kid, that is the same matchup as we're looking at on 12U.
Well, no. Hey, the biggest thing is I'm not advocating against football. Obviously, we're going to play football, but the why we need to transition to other sports is the brain is not conditioned to be hit on 12 months out of the year, bro.
Right.
Correct.
And hey, what we're also finding out now about boxers, UFC fighters, more and more is coming out about brain injuries, man. Demaryius Thomas, I gotta say it again. He was barely 40, bro. He died because of CTE. He probably been playing football since he was like 6 or 7 too.
But that's a long time, man. I mean,
right,
that's
6 or 7
time.
all the way up. And remember, the hits get more violent and violent and violent. So
that's where technique come into play.
Right, there we go. That's what I was trying to hit.
That's where technique come into play. At 6U, it shouldn't be about winning and beating up on everybody. It should be about teaching proper technique. If you start at the 6U level, teaching proper technique, proper technique, you start at the 6U. Winning shouldn't be the issue. It should be proper technique. Then you get to 8U, they got proper technique, and then you move forward. Then you get to 10U.
Then you get the speeding involved.
Then you get to 8U, you move forward. Then when you get to 10U, you move forward. So now, the whole time, you're gaining football IQ. Talent don't mean nothing if you don't have football IQ. And the point of having a 6U tackle is to raise the kids' football IQ. If you teach them proper technique at a young age, and then you progress it as they get older, then now you have a sound football player who has proper technique, who has proper skills. My son is deaf. So I went to the doctor. My son has an implant in his head. So violent hits to the head are very serious.
Right.
And the doctor told me, he said, I would prefer you to have your son and tackle football young, because that way he can condition his body, he can condition his brain, and he can condition his movements to protect himself. Yep. That way, when he gets up a little older and the game gets faster, it gets more brutal, his body is already conditioned how to move, the techniques to use to properly hit, properly tackle, and to properly prepare himself for big impacts, how to shield, and all that stuff. This comes from my son's doctor. So that's why I let my son play tackle football at 7. You see, at 6. You see what I'm saying?
But under the impression again, under the safety that they're teaching technique.
Technique is everything.
And that's the message, guys. Like parents, if you're gonna put your kid into a 6U tackle, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No. I was hinting at technique, and you cannot have your child playing tackle football from goddamn January to the next January.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's more brutal on the body. Yeah. That's more brutal on the body than anything else. When y'all was saying about playing other sports, all the sports can come together. They all share similar techniques, similar body movements, similar disciplines. So if you in basketball, you're using more jumping and running cardio a little more than you do in football. So it balances out. Then when you play baseball, that's where your hand-eye coordination comes in, and it all works together in every single sport. You have to have every attribute you have in football, you have to have in basketball, you have to have in baseball, you got to have in soccer, you got to have in bowling. Proper form, proper technique, focus, hand-eye coordination, and everything. So if we're really trying to improve our kids and all that stuff, we need to make sure that we are properly teaching technique. And the thing that I want to make sure that we let these parents understand is the coaches can only do so much. The coaches can only do so much. If you really, I can't see the comments, so I'll look at them in a minute. But if the parents take the time and invest in their kids a little more, it makes it easier for the coach to properly teach technique and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. If you get them to a specific, y'all laughing, what the comments say?
That's it. I'm talking about
Joe done smoked the whole pack
of cigarettes since he's been on this damn live. Since he's been on this live, he went through a whole box of cigarettes.
Yeah, I think as a whole, there's no reason that we're not having coaches meetings with every org, bringing their coaches together, and we chop it up. Powwow. We have conversations. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to do here in Waco is set up a meeting with all the Waco coaches so we can sit down and chop it up. Talk about what's going on. Talk about our organization is successful. So what I want to do is I want to share some of the insight that we have to some of these other organizations so they can step their game up, because it's for the city of Waco.
But
you see what I'm saying?
But the thing is you can share that insight to as many people if you want, but if they're not listening, it's you burn. They don't.
But if I share the information, I did my job.
Fact.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how I feel about it.
If I share the information, so you look at this. You look at this right now. Everybody putting these teams together. Y'all should be raising money to go out of state somewhere. Right now. You're building these teams. That's great. I think that's good for the league. But what you got to do is you can't let this season end at the end of the year. You have to take it out and do something else. Go to Florida, go to Oklahoma, go anywhere, so we can keep this thing going. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
That and I think Polite, you said you were working on actually bringing somebody down for like a coach's clinic, right? That's what we need, guys. We don't have a bunch of gambles running around, like, you know what I mean, that are teaching the right thing. And that's why I keep bringing up technique and stuff like this with the football, man, because this is how a lot of kids are getting. By the time they're 25, they got brain damage. You know what I mean? Because they're just being taught by any Joe Blow.
But that's because people worried about what's going on at this level.
Right.
They're not getting scholarships at 6U and AU.
Right.
You know what I mean? What our job as youth coaches is to prepare them for the next level. And if we're not preparing them for the next level, we're doing them a disservice.
Agreed, man. That's the bottom line, period. That's the bottom line, man. So, hey, I agree with y'all, man. I'm glad. I'm trying to bring as many coaches on here that, we didn't really have our powwow yet, man. But if any other coaches want to tap in, I'm putting everybody on the screen because I think, again, for the parents that are watching this is what they need to understand, right? They need to understand that there are coaches from literally 5 different orgs or 4 different orgs on the same thing agreeing that this is the technique that needs to be installed, right? And, again, it's okay to fire coaches, guys.
Yeah.
That again.
Yeah.
It is okay to fire coaches. They are volunteer. The same thing they're going to use against you.
Okay.
The same thing you can say to them. It is volunteer.
Especially if they're detrimental to
a kid's health.
Process of the kid's health and their experience.
So these organizations also have to get a culture going of technique, proper training, understanding football. Right. I watch some of these kids that don't have football IQ, and it's crazy. There's no way you're supposed to be in 10U and don't know your holes.
Facts.
There's no reason.
Facts.
There's no reason. We started teaching holes in flag. Everybody needs to use every level as a stepping stone. And flag, you're supposed to teach them basic fundamentals. AQ, you step it up a notch. If we do that, your org is going to be successful by the time they're 12 years, no matter what kids you have.
Facts.
No matter what kids you have.
Here's the problem with coaches, not only in Central Texas, but across the country. Okay? The biggest problem is, there's 2 of them. The biggest problem is their ego. If a coach is running 25 power and practice, you say, hey, what if they bring the outside linebacker in? What are you going to do? If the guy's answer is run a different play, well, how come you don't have a hot route on a quick slant when that linebacker comes in?
Well, see,
people don't want to hear that. And the other thing you hear all the time, I played high school football. I played college football.
So I want you to understand something. So when you do a scrimmage is not to run up and down the field on each other. A scrimmage should be let me run a play. Hold on, stop. Hold on. My middle linebacker came through that hole on this play. Who are you supposed to block? What are you supposed to do? That is what a true definition of a scrimmage is. Right. And if you can't run a scrimmage like that, then you just beating your chest. It don't matter a good team, a reg team. You need a functioning offense and a functioning defense in a scrimmage. You line it up, and it shouldn't be no time limit or nothing. It should be all right. I'm gonna run offense for
this way.
Right. And so when I run my 10 plays, hold on, stop. Let's reset that up. Say, coach, run that same defense. And let me learn. Who are you supposed to block? If you do that, that is technique. That is responsibility. That is football IQ. That is teaching these kids how to respond to what they see.
Right. No, they'd be taking score.
And the score shouldn't matter, man.
We don't know if we're in zone blocking scheme or power. We don't know.
We know we scored a touchdown.
If I'm scrimmaging and my man take off and start getting ready to run down the field, I'm gonna blow the whistle. Bring it back. Ain't no use in bring it back. Let's do this again.
The Light is a great vouch for me on this one. We scrimmaged them at the beginning of the year. There was plays that we scored on that I didn't even know we scored. Because I'm sitting here looking at the line. I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at the way wide receivers lined up. I wasn't looking at the toss. Wasn't looking at the pitch. Didn't care about the whole. I'm looking. Did they go in the pass block? Did those guys drop in the pass block? Did they go in the run block? Did they make the calls that they were supposed to make on the line? And I'm chewing them up. And they like, we just scored. I'm like, respot it, run it again.
Right. That's what it's supposed to be. So the good thing about the Southern Panthers is we try to make sure we have position coaches. I need an O-line coach. I need a D-line coach. I need a DB coach. So when we scrimmaging or when we playing in the game, that is your responsibility.
Fact.
Your job is to make sure that they doing what they supposed to do. If they not, hey coach, my line. Hold on, redo that again. We have to broaden what we doing in this area.
Truth.
You know?
All right. So I'm gonna transition this out, man, because y'all absolutely right, and Bass is about to hop on here, which is a good point for me right now.
I'll hop out.
Hey, all right. Hey, no, well, you got.
I'll let the Godfathers in. Godfather Gam.
Hey, we appreciate you shaving just to come on today.
No, man.
That was just for you, Bert.
Joe got cleaned up for sure. Hey man, so all right, we're talking technique, right? We're talking all things that we're supposed to learn in football and the things that we want to see in our kids, right? But I got to transition this to other sports because of the fact of, technically speaking, we're trying to transition out of football and get into a multi-sport culture, right?
Track.
So track. I'm gonna touch track, and I'm also gonna touch basketball as well. But I want to go into this because all y'all are involved in this. Let me put Bass in here. I'm sorry, Bass, you in, bro? Is that how?
Looking like a Muslim.
oh, stop playing, Bert. Listen, I'm trying to talk. But no, like let's look into a basketball thing, right? All right, so triple threat, 7th grade or 2029, I think it is 2028. One of those groups just scrimmage Marlin. All right, we got to watch that game. Bert, from my sideline, from the side view that I saw, right? In a scrimmage, we ran the score up. It is what it is, right? But did we work on the things that we think we should have? Right, we got it on film so that we can review it. It is what it is. But did we break it down like we should have broke it down?
No. There's two different, like when you have a scrimmage. There's two different ways. It was really a game. A scrimmage is, listen, in a scrimmage. When I come into a scrimmage, I come with a game plan where we're running one play, we're running one defense, and we're trying to perfect that. Right?
No, great.
A game. Listen, that was a game because in a scrimmage, like Gamble said, I'm stopping. Hey, why were you this high on the zone?
But you can do that. You can do that in the game, technically speaking. I mean, think about it. You can. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get at. That's all I'm trying to get at in the aspect of what we're already talking about, right?
Hey, Will said, where were we at today?
I was at Showcase. I was at Showcase.
But see, so like in basketball, in the scrimmage in basketball, you should be working on the stuff that don't work.
Fact.
Trying to figure out how to make it work.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like,
if you got something that's working, okay, let's pull that out. Let's go back. Now let's try this.
And we can execute the fast break. We can execute
we got that. We got that.
Right.
So now let's work on something that don't work. Let's try to figure out how we can make this work. That's what a scrimmage should be. In basketball, in football, in soccer, in baseball, in everything.
And again, this ain't no shot at TTS. Obviously, I'm rocking with TTS, right? But I took that to heart mentally. I took that to heart mentally. Think about that. I took that to heart mentally. Then when I sat back and thought about it, I said, man, they ran the score. It was 40-7.
No, they got things they were definitely working on.
But I was just thinking to myself, I said, hey, man, we should have. Did we cut that in half, right? I saw the rotation. I big ups to Ashley and KJ for that because the one thing I did see was, man, they rotating them kids in. Like they rotate these kids in different groups and different sets, trying to see how they bond with other people.
That's what you should be working on.
Yeah. I will give them.
I was saying that was the main thing. Chemistry, and that's number one.
Fact.
And like Gamble said, they've only been running plays against air. So is this going to work or is this
not going to work? True. Yep. True. That's true, man. So I'm giving it to props where it's due, but that's what I'm thinking. Like I say, in the aspect of scrimmaging.
In basketball, finding your rotation is very key. Finding a successful rotation is key in basketball.
Right.
But not only finding a rotation, finding if you got a rotation going and something in that rotation is not working, figure out what's the next best thing to plug into that rotation to make it work. Yep. Rotation is very important in basketball.
Hey, I agree, man. It is what it is, and that's the bigger thing is who bonds who with what, and who can go in when an injury comes into play with what. All right. By
Right.
the way, still accomplish the same goals: setting up our same half court defense, half court offense, running
Right.
the press, running full court, man. 1-3-1s. Who can do it in what position? Do you have a center that's interchangeable? Do you have a
Right.
guard that can drop down in the center spot to play, on a speed team or a hands team? Like these kinds of things matter, and that's what I know. Again, first. I'm not criticizing at all, guys. I just want to say I know that's the first scrimmage. I think the one thing they wanted to work on, Burke, was, again, rotation of these kids, right? Who can do what in live reps? I think they checked that box. That was great. But going into things like that, moving that to another sport, right? Do y'all do the same thing in track?
Yes, every track meet prior to nationals is a scrimmage, basically. It doesn't matter until you get to that big stage. I think a lot of parents and even athletes they get wrapped into the medals and stuff like that you get at these events, which is all and it's great to have that stuff. But we're focusing on time. I want to see if you listen and you learn how to actually run that race.
Are you
did
getting
you focus
faster?
on your drive? Did
Yeah.
you focus on your float phase? Did you focus on pushing? Certain things like that. And the mechanics behind running. That's all the things that you're looking at into your track athlete. So it's pretty much the same. Going to these.
So Bass, I'm gonna throw you in there, Bass. What you got going on? Like I say, what are y'all looking at out there, right? What the Grey Wolves indoor track right now is looking at? I know you're looking at time, like I said, because I think time is a big key for track. But are you looking at, are you? Let me ask this question, a better question. As a coach, how does a certain athlete, not say lose a spot or gain a spot in track? Is it failure to work on your mechanics, time, not time progressions, things like that?
All right. So first of all, in track, there's no spot. It's
facts.
Okay. And you're by yourself lining it up, and you just got to know that you got to go out there and give it your best.
Perform.
One thing Polite just hit on is when we talk about times, you're not racing really nobody out there. You got to know what your time, and this is how you develop in track. These meets that we did during the fall, these kids were getting times, and them times are times that they got to chase all season. So if you know you run, you're a 400 runner, and you ran. I seen a kid ran phenomenal. He ran a phenomenal. 11-year-old ran a 102. He ran a 102 400.
Man.
So the point is, you ran a 102 on the indoor track. That's great. So now when you hit that outdoor, 102 shouldn't be something that you never touch again. So that's one thing that we look at as in developing. And then there's ways that you teach a kid. We're talking about mechanics of cheek pocket. We're talking about your start. There's different phases when you're beginning your race to like the third second of your race to third second of your race to how you finish. So it's all important. It's all important. But when
a lot of these races are mental.
Only way you can lose a spot on track and field
is yourself.
On a relay. If you're on a relay team and a kid comes on the team and they just faster than you, and then if they learn how to do like the baton pass and all that stuff, and that's the only way. Because if you're developing kids, you want the best of the best to do these relays. That's the only way.
Well, and again, all this circles back to our primary sport of football, right? Is that if you're teaching a kid to run mental timing, right, or mental track and speed and everything like this, when he gets to a football field, that trait carries. That mental trait carries, right? If I'm in an open field, hey, I'm blowing dust. I'm trying to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I asked that between the different levels of basketball, to track back to football, however y'all want to look at the circle of sports, right? Like Gamble said, everything plays a part into something else. And I'm just trying to figure out how to get that to the parents of accountability of why we want kids in multiple sports. Right?
And you know why
you have to teach kids to understand that, being a great football player is good, or track, a track runner is great, or even basketball. If you out there and you just a hoopster, but the mindset should always be an athlete.
Facts. Be an athlete.
Be an athlete. That's it.
No, hey, well, not even that. As the kids get older and they transition,
they may not like it.
They might fall out of love football, and that's why we got to introduce them to all these other sports so they can have something to key on. And listen, luckily for the most part of us, and not everybody's in this position, but for the families who are in a position where, sports doesn't have to be your only way to college. What this does bring to the kids, a lot of people don't talk about the discipline, the hard work, the character building, learning how to work with others. This all goes into life.
It does.
And if we're not, and that's the part I think most we're forgetting about.
We forget about it. Yep.
We forget about that a lot, man. The hard work and the dedication, man. Like my son earlier was like, "Hey, can I get a basketball trainer?" I said, "Well, let me ask you this." He's got a young lady who played 4 AAU games on Sunday, and then called the trainer and said, "Hey, is the gym open? You got time for me?" That same night. I said, "You willing to put that work in?" Because she knows in the back of her mind, even when you're working, let's say I'm trying to go work for Google or Facebook, I'm competing against somebody.
Right.
How does their resume look? How does their hard work stack up? What kind of connections do they have compared to me? Right. This is the stuff, we talk about sports, but tying all that into life, man, I think everybody forgets about. And football ain't for everybody. That's the biggest thing. Everybody joking about bowling. I'm dead serious. We about to get a bowling team together.
I was on a high school bowling team.
Man, we about to get a bowling team together. They give out scholarships for bowling. Yep. And to hit the type of kids who don't have that lane where their parents can pay for college and all that, we want them kids doing everything. You know why? As long as their college is free, they can play whatever sport. You know how many times they take a track kid and give him a scholarship for track, but he play football? Come on, man.
Hey, switching gears real quick. Hey, I want to point two things out, man, because I know we talking football and all this other good stuff. I just want to say, like, the teams that we seen from Central Texas down there this weekend, it was great to see the show out from I Train You, the Flame, and us to just, intermingle. And it was kids from around
Young Runners Club.
What's that?
Young Runners Clubs.
Young Runners was down there. Young Run. The kid that ran the 102 was from the Young Runners.
Yeah. Shoot, the kid that ran a 22 was from Young Runners.
Hey, out there doing it. So I just want to say shout out to them teams, man. Hey, good stuff.
Hey, and again, this is what it's about, parents, man. This is what we're talking about, the things you guys don't get to see sometimes when your sport's over, right? Is that these coaches, man, they mingle outside of this stuff, man. It ain't what you all hear in the city and what you see on Facebook and some of these unintentional shots, whatever you want to call them. Like, man, this is bigger than some of these coaches really care about kids. And they care about the development of kids, and they'll put their prides down, their egos down to show that, hey, we care about kids outside our city.
I'm going to tell you something. You know, when I hear people talking about pride and the egos, you put the egos to the side, man, I dismiss all them type of words for the simple fact I know how I move. I know how the people that's around me move.
I represent me. I represent Will.
And maybe I'm just ignorant to the fact that I just don't want to see it, because I really move by my own beat of my own drum. I don't listen to what the next org to me doing or just
big facts.
Neighbor. Yeah. Man, I move. I move how I move. The people that rock with me, they move how they move. You know.
And guess what? It's crazy.
And we come back to to the drawing table and talk about how we moving.
Hey, that's why we do what we do. We do what we want to do. I don't care what nobody else say. I don't care what nobody else do. We're gonna do what we want to do. We're gonna do what we feel is the best for us. Say, I want to say one thing to the parents and coaches also. We supposed to use these sports to help them with lessons in life.
Yes,
the lessons in sports are lessons in life. The sports is a tool for us to get ahead in life. The sports, you have to be realistic. All these kids that's playing, it's going to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 that make it to the league. That's a fact. That's an honest to God fact. But what we can do is make sure these kids get to college where they get a free education to get a head up on what they're doing in life.
That's a lot better success rate. That's
you see what I'm saying?
Better success rate.
You know, that's what we need to set these kids up for. You know what I mean? We all want to see them go pro, but the truth of the real fact is, there's a lot of kids out here that played football all their life and didn't make it. Now they bumming and they working, they barely getting a job. They had scholarships, but they wasn't conditioned that they are student athletes. The student is first.
Yep.
They're not conditioned.
Checking to make sure they were good young men.
Right. Because guess what? All they were is football players doing.
That's all. And
they turned to breaking in cars, breaking in houses,
that's it.
Stealing ladies' purses, all that.
To this day, I go to football games at Robinson, China Spring, La Vega, Conley, Waco High, University, Lorena, because I have touched kids on all them platforms.
Right.
When them kids see you out in the stands, and when you see their kids on the sideline, and you say, man, tighten up, they understand what that means and they get right. That's how we supposed to stand these kids. Like me and Cleo pop up at schools. You get in trouble at school, watch me pop up. I'm gonna take a day out of work and I'm gonna do a school round and I'm popping up in schools. Say, parents, y'all don't mind me popping up on your kids at school? No, I go meet the principals, I go meet the teachers, I go meet the thing. Y'all ever got problems? Y'all call me. If they wanted my kids, and I'm gonna pop up in school. I'm gonna sit in your class with you. That's the kind of hand that we supposed to have on these kids to make them be successful in life.
Yep. You're absolutely right, man.
This is before we let y'all get off here. This is a great question Bates brought up. Now, what you said, Bass, we move how we move and we try to leave the negativity behind. But at what point do we speak up against the guys we know that are detrimental to kids?
Oh, that's a good question. So you can speak up. I speak up. You can speak up. But the powers that be, if I come to you, Burke, say, man, your coach on the sideline, man, he called that kid a punk ass. It's up to you as a coach, as an organization, to make sure you set that right. Say, man, we don't need to be, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
I can speak up, I can say something, but I'm not in that organization. I can raise all kinds of hell, but if you allow that man to coach and to continue doing what he's doing in your organization, that's a state on you and your organization.
Facts. And that's all we can, that's the thing you got to understand, man.
Hey, coach is going to be fired, man.
Facts. It's just proper channels, man. The point is, it's your job to tell that coach or that head coach that other coach don't deserve to be in there because the way he do it.
No,
all you do is address it.
That's it. I talk to the coach. I talk to the coach. I'm going to talk to the coach first.
Yeah.
If he don't respond to something like that, then we got to go for, because like you say, if this is supposed to be for the kids, then we got to keep everything 100.
Yeah,
right.
No, I agree,
Yeah.
man. Agree.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest, I'll even be more into it than him. Hey, it go the same thing, even if that kid is your child. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to, parents, you got to understand the channels. I understand that we get real defensive of our kids, but sometimes people act out of anger or we're not thinking at the time, and it could be a simple correction. But then you got some people out there that are repeat offenders.
Yes.
Hey, so let me ask you something. So Gamble, you pretty much hit on it. If you saying a coach from another organization, I think the question was, if you got a coach, it doesn't matter where they at. When do you speak up? Right.
Facts.
So
Facts.
I could say hands down, like in my own org, you're always going to have good coaches, and you're going to have coaches that start to, do certain things that might not go in line with your org.
Facts.
The number one thing to do, man, is you have to have a sit down with that coach. You can't let a situation go bad, because it's going to go worse.
Right.
So if you got a coach that's not acting right,
talk to that kid.
Talk to him.
Talk to him.
You got to have somebody in your org. You can't just have the coaches mentoring kids. Coaches need mentors too.
Let's forget the word. I think we're forgetting the main word in this, because we as coaches, when you're involved, but these are volunteer coaches.
Yeah, but they're volunteer.
Hey, but it comes to a point.
And then they need to be, and then we can unvolunteer them.
Fact. You can be unvolunteer.
I mean, that's just a fact. So if the kids,
Hold on, Gamble. Hey, yes, they're volunteers, but if everybody was professionals, they would be coaching in the pros.
No, that's the point, man.
They need guidance too. Coaches need guidance too.
Absolutely, that's the point.
You don't just fire. You don't just throw them away because they made one mistake.
You're right.
But we're talking about
habitual offenders.
No, we're talking about
habitual offenders.
No, I agree with you. You need to have a sit down and talk to them. I think it needs to be a sit down. I think it needs to be clear guidelines set before we even start.
That's true.
Before we even start.
There's a mission statement. There's an expectation.
Right.
And I agree with that too. But you got some of these coaches. Sometimes this outlet right here, being a football coach, maybe it saves their life. It's a life saver. It takes you away from the streets too. You got to understand. Sometimes they come from different environments.
And that's why I say that
this is their release to put something positive on the community.
Polite, and you should agree with this one because this is how I feel your structure is set, right? Initially, there's levels to it, right? You shouldn't step in. You as an owner or as an org, you shouldn't step in until it gets to your level, right? Because the first level should be your head coach steps in and talks to that group of coaches and identifying. And then the next level would be, okay, my AD should be involved with this, right? And then we're still talking about it if this should be a repeat thing by then, right? Then it comes to, hey, why am I at the top getting told about this, right? And you make the evaluation for yourself if you need to get that person gone or not.
And that's a great way to look at it. But sometimes, like with myself, I walk around practice, man. I go to everybody's individual practice. Last year, I rocked with the team.
But you're an AD.
I wasn't an AD.
I know you weren't, but your persona of what you do is an AD.
I was involved. So
that's
simple. We had a presence of board members or owners on every level. Mm-hmm. So we made sure there was some type of good order and discipline. But the way you're saying it, as in when it goes up the level, that's I was in the military. That's military thinking, as in I'm the first sergeant. So these situations shouldn't come to me.
No,
that's not. I don't think that's how we should operate.
Well, I'm not saying that's how your org's got to operate, but let's look at the system in general, right? It's got to, because I'm a firm believer in you. There's some things that happen on the Jets that never need to leave that, because I didn't have to go talk on the head coach. Another coach, a positions coach, could have talked to that coach better than the head coach here without making it seem like it was authority getting at him. You know what I'm saying?
With that point, everybody should police everybody up.
Everybody should police, because at the end of the day, we represent one thing. And I tell people this, when you on my coaching staff, you represent one thing. 11 U Jets, 12 U Jets, right? Before we get into the name of who we are, I represent my last name on every one of the back of my jerseys and everything like that. So if you go out here acting the fool, it ain't going to be, oh, Coach A acting the fool. It's going to be, hey, ain't that Will's coach such and such over there acting the fool?
Hey, well, there's the first thing they're going to say. That's a Vipers coach. Hey, there's a Chiefs coach. Hey, there's a Grey Wolf coach. They're going to say nothing else.
So I want to make it crystal clear that, like, for my staff, and this is part of the beginning, before you get to kids, you got to have a solid foundation with coaches. I see it all the time on the sideline with the camera.
So my question, I got a question for y'all. So do you interview your coaches?
You should.
Oh, hands down.
You should, yeah.
If anybody knows me in this chat, I talk to every coach that I've ever played with, and I'm going to tell you what, if you don't have the same lifestyle or thinking pattern as I do, we're probably not going to blend.
Yeah, no, you should.
Just that simple.
Hey, and not only should you interview them, they should have references. Now, it sounds crazy, but we're dealing with kids.
Facts.
You can destroy a kid with one bad coach. I've seen it. This kid, I seen a kid, he don't want to play football to this day. And this was like when he was flagged. That's how bad I've seen the coach run him off. So you got to be interviewed and have references.
Yep.
And we ain't talking about one time you got into a spat on the sideline with another coach. Like, you have a good general history. You know, that one time we could talk about, you explain to me what happened. Boom. Hey, here at our establishment, you know, we'll talk about those things afterwards, right?
Yep.
We don't need no sideline blow-ups. But no, you should. Hey, polite, hey, put it up. Tell them. And should there be evaluations after the year?
Absolutely.
Should be evaluations.
Yeah,
absolutely. Hey, why not?
And your evaluations are based off of your win percentage.
You do everything you do in life, you get an evaluation.
You say what now?
They shouldn't be based off your wins.
Your evaluations are not based off of your win percentage.
Oh, I thought you said it should be based off.
No, should
no.
It'll be a lot of coaches out here that ain't coaching no more. Hey, man. Hey, I want to stop real quick, man. I know we're about an hour and 30 into this, man. I try not to let these things go too long, bro. But I really want to appreciate Bass, Polite, Gamble, Joe, everybody, Coach Mo, everybody that jumped on here tonight, man. Again, this platform is exactly for this when we have it out here for the Sunday shows, man. Multiple sports, multiple coaches, getting the message out to parents the way we want it to, not where the internet needs to be put out, right? We want to put it out here directly for you guys in our area. I know y'all two especially are really good at it, man, but we definitely got to start getting to a point where our coaches and adults are supporting and not doing it to say, hey, yeah, I rock. No, like we're actually out and physically supporting kids.
Yes.
Kids. All right. We need to be involved with these kids. Don't just because he played
kids over everybody. I like that.
Facts. Football, just because he played football with you and now he's with the Grey Wolves track team doesn't mean that he's going to be on Grey Wolves football. All right. Go support that kid. Be there to show him that his football coach showed up to his track meet. And that means more than his parent probably showing up to most of their practices. Trust me.
Listen, the kids, Polite's got a kid that I had back when he was in flag, man. And I speak to him, and I still check on him to this day.
Mhm.
And I would never allow him to even try to come back with me because I found like he's finally in a situation that he and his family need to be at, right?
That's it, man. Hey guys, I appreciate y'all jumping on here, man. I'm gonna kick y'all off real quick. We're gonna get Burke's Corner on the way up out of here. Y'all be safe, man. Burke, what you got, man? What you got? Live at 5. Real quick before we get out of here.
Hey, live at 5. Check on these kids, especially the ones that we know that need to be checked on. We don't have to be politically correct, but there's kids out there that need more from us than others. And if you're not in a position to do it because of time, and I get it, your family comes first. It can be a group effort. The more and more as the kids are getting older, I'm coming to find out that kids are getting lost away just because nobody checked on them. We can't save everybody because statistically, life has shown us that sometimes them kids are going to go out there and do what they want to do anyway.
Yep.
But continue to check on these kids, man, and check on your own kids. And coaches, make time for your own kids. It's something that's, and I'll be completely honest, is a bit of a heated argument in my household a lot because we give so much time and effort to other people's kids that sometimes ours suffer the most.
We take for granted what's sitting at the house, for real. Respect.
Right. Check on your own kids and make sure that they're good, and always be there for your kids. You know,
absolutely, man.
That doesn't mean ignore everybody else's, but that's it, man. That's all I got.
That's it, man. Hey, again, I'm with you, Burke, man. The same thing, man. We got some steppers. We got a lot of good camps and stuff coming up, man. Make sure y'all check the page for that. Again, it's dropping the egos, man, and putting people in positions where they need to be. I talked with Big Jesse today. I told him, hey, I'm a DC. I've always been a DC. One thing I ain't never been real good at though is
we missed one. Stop bashing kids who leave your org. Ooh, we go. Great point.
Look, definitely good points, man. But hey, we appreciate y'all jumping through here, man. Again, go support. Find the flyer on our page. Get out there to support those kids. Viper softball, I'm coming out there for you guys.
Big Steppers.
Big Steppers, we're going to be out there. I told you I'm taking my showcase line to the Big Steppers crew because I need them to get that work. Something I can't do, man. So I need
we apologize to Will Jones, man. Shout out to Will Jones and his 15U and 18U triple threat 7-on-7 teams.
7-on-7.
They had a full pack stands for a scrimmage today. So the excitement is real, man. So shout out to them. Basketball wise, if you want us to come out there and we want to work with everybody. 7-on-7 groups.
Hey, if you got somebody that's in position to get practice locations for basketball, hit us up. We got tons of people looking for it, man. Hit us up. Let's do some community work, man. If you got a guy that works at a
get these babies out the cold, man.
Get them out the cold, bro. We got tons of organizations out here looking for spots to play at. If you got a plug, let us know so we can give it to the coaches and of other orgs and our orgs and everybody else so we can get them babies out the cold, man. All right.
That's it, man.
Saga went out, man. I'm good.
Hey, we set the trends, baby.
Hey, y'all be safe, man.
East Texas, West Texas, Dallas, Houston, Central Texas. You are now tuned in to CTX Sports Saga, the #1 place for you sports recaps, news, predictions, all that other good stuff dealing with all the youth. Because the youth is the future. Exposure that kids need. Let's go.